共好 ESG for Common Good and Sustainability Forum 再次欢迎各位的莅临，我们的论坛即将在3分钟后开始，请所有的贵宾尽速就座，并将手机调整成静音，谢谢。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESG for Common Goods and Sustainability Forum. We will begin in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Please take a seat and switch your phone to the silent mode. Thank you. 各位现场的贵宾，大家早！本次论坛为 ESG 的论坛，永续共好 ESG for Common Good and Sustainability Forum。再次欢迎各位贵宾的莅临。我们的论坛即将在1分钟后就要正式的开始，请所有贵宾尽速就座，并将手机调整为静音，谢谢。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESG for Common Good and Sustainability Forum. We will begin in 1 minute. 1 minute. Please have a seat and switch your phone to the silent mode. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Taipei and InnoVEX, ESG and sustainability have become global trends, with various industries making efforts towards a greener globe. As the organizer of InnoVEX, we collaborate with Taiwan IoT Technology and Industry Association, TwIoTA, Taiwan Climate Partnership, TCP, and the leading companies to explore on these topics together. Now, let's begin. For our first speaker, I would like to welcome Dr. Chi-Ming Peng, the General Secretary of Taiwan Climate Partnership. Dr. Peng is dedicated to promoting climate change, weather, environmental prevention, open data, and disaster prevention-related topics. Let us welcome Dr. Peng.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Chi-Ming and from the Taiwan Climate Partnership, and actually I'm a meteorologist. I have a weather company. About 2 years ago, we organized by the ICT industry, especially support by the TCA, Taipei Computer Association, and to do something about climate change. So today, the topic I want to talk about ESG is not the normal thing or ethical things. It's really in the market, what we should know. The first things I want to tell you, the ESG assets, I mean the investment in the world is more than 40 trillion US dollars right now. And in 2050, it will be about 53, about 1/3 of the total assets. So it's a huge number, just like a transition or everywhere. Especially in sometimes the performance is quite good, 20%, and also the bear is about 10%. So in average, because you do the ESG, you will have maybe more healthy, so the company performance will be better. So let me show you one data. This is from the MSCI. They have the comparison about the data, invest the ESG. not invest the total. You know, it's a better, a little slightly better compare. But this year is quite bad. I think the economy inflection, this is a major reason. But in average, it's better than the traditional one. And let me show you the Taiwan ESG. It depends on, one is global, one is Taiwan. You can see the totally compared to the previous page. Taiwan is better, more better, almost maybe more than 80% than the average. You can see Taiwan ESG performance is totally quite good. Probably you will ask why the Taiwan ESG performance, especially is accumulated, is better than the global. This is the major reason. You know, our ESG funding, the major investment is Taiwan TSMC. TSMC is actually quite good. I remember TSMC is our founding member of the Taiwan Climate Partnership. Their goal is RE100 about 2 years ago, and also net zero 2050. So they are the first one, and later on the other company go inside. And so TSMC, also the other company. For example, Delta Electronics is also our company, and also the others. And compared to the other country, the globally is Microsoft. The second is NVIDIA, just like a traditional innovation company about this. So there was some difference. So in Taiwan, I don't think Taiwan is better than the others. The investment strategy is totally different. And tell you the truth, this morning I read about the MSCI, the Net Zero Tracker the report. You know, when we talk about ESG, our goal is 1.5 degree. But the real things, what we did is about 2.9 degree. So it's totally different. 1.5 is idealized, our dream, but never happened. So right now our pathway is this. And also our politician, our government will talk about something, do something. For example, in Taiwan and globally, each country have the net zero plan. But the real one is just like a slogan, still going up to 2 degrees. So the MSCI report claim what we should do right now is not only talk, we should have some preparation about the disaster prevention. And another issue is when we do something about the ESG, the most important things, because ESG is just like to enhance your company's reputations. But the real thing is greenwashing. What is greenwashing? Every company will like to make you green and okay, you are better than the others. And however, the real thing is the temperature, your strategy is far behind. So we can say it's greenwashing. Last year, the United Nations, the Secretary General of the United Nations, and he invited the Prime Minister, the Minister of Environment of Canada to organize a greenwashing committee to check the government, private sector, how they can do about the greenwashing. They have a guideline. I think they will have a guideline this year, especially this year, COP28 will be in Dubai. There was some guidelines this year. And another issue is actually the European Union already did this. For example, just you know, the EU taxonomy. Taxonomy is a way to identify what kind of action is green or not green. For example, number one is climate change mitigation. Second is adaptation. Your action, the goal, what you set up, and how to do it is very important. And also the others, sustainable use, and also transition, pollution prevention, and also protection of our health ecosystem. So there were lots of the taxonomy about that. For example, recently, the nuclear power discussion, should we have phase out totally the nuclear or keep some, is a very hot issue in Taiwan. There were also some definition in the EU taxonomy. Nuclear power station, should we invest it or not? And each country have some guideline. For example, right now, the Taiwan, before that, the ESG funding, some NGO, they claim the Taiwan ESG funding, especially investment, they only invest the big emission company in Taiwan. So right now, our government want to have some guideline about, especially for the ESG fund. So it should be issued by the Secretary Investment Trust Enterprise. So each country, right now, doing the taxonomy or guideline, just like EU taxonomy. And however, each kind of the methodology is totally different. For example, ISSB, ESRS, or SEC, totally, for example, the scope and the category, each one is totally different. So how can we, each enterprise, to set up your goal? Probably SBT is the key, the basic one. However, go to the others, we still have a long way to go. And another issue is such kind of rating in MSCI, they have a very detailed. Right now, each company should have some report in public in their financial yearly annual report. But MSCI, they collect lots of the data, collect together. So, for example, the scope, greenhouse gas emissions, scope 1, 2, 3. Right now, the 3 is not big enough. Very limited company do this. However, in the future, there was some guideline how to make a better understanding about all of the enterprise is what we should do. And another big issue is the previous one is the investment. The most important one now is GFANZ, Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. This alliance is, in the beginning, I think it's a very rough alliance. I remember they launched this alliance about 2 years ago in COP26 in Glasgow, UK, in Scotland. And they organized this organization. What is this organization? Including the assets, owner, banking, investment, insurance, everywhere. What do you know about the investment? They organize a big team. The goal is, for example, they have lots of companies. Right now, they have more than 600 companies. And they want to invest the carbon reduction and also get money back. So it's a kind of win-win strategy. And their goal is, for example, right now, every 5 years, each company should have some 5-year decarbonization plan. And later on, 2030, cut down about 50%. 50%. You know, in Taiwan, the government official is 24%. And for the enterprise, if you want to join, it's 50%, cut the carbon emission. And 2050 is net zero. For example, you are a bank, you want to have a loan. Each company, you should push them carbon reduction in advance. However, this is a good deal, very, very wonderful. But right now, some insurance company get back, withdraw this, almost especially the reinsurance company. For example, Munich Re or Swiss Re, all of the big insurance company withdraw this, could quit the Glasgow finance. So right now, what we focus right now, how did they going on? Because right now, just we know, the WEF, World Economic Forum, they mentioned the recent risk, 2 years, not probably the cost of the living crisis is better, is more important than the others. However, 10 years, all of the 10 years, the top 4 is about the climate change. And what we should do is, because the trend is very clear, what we should do, because there were lots of risk. If we go back to the risk data, this is the risk data from the UN. They calculate all of the natural disaster. The disaster not only for the weather, but also from the earthquake. But if we combine together, you can see all of the risk, the loss going up. It's very clear. And another data is about because the loss, economy loss, we can separate insure or not insure. So insure limit is still very limited, and especially during the very severe events. For example, when a hurricane, Harvey, Irma, Maria hit US, all of the premium of the insurance going up recently. So recently, I was invited to one of the insurance company in Taiwan, the biggest one, and give them a talk. And I found, because lots of their customer claim, last 3 years in Taiwan, no typhoon at all. So please reduce the premium, insurance premium as you can. But the global loss is going up. So the global reinsurance premium is going up, maybe 20 or to 30%. So they cannot accept this ideal. But I tell them, because the loss is going up, and the insurance company should cover every loss. So the premium will going up. So in the future, you should not care about yourself. It's a globally disaster. That's what you should do in the future. So such is kind of, we can separate the events and also the, how can we separate the insured loss or the other loss. So in the future, I think such a kind of a loss issue, you should pay more premium about the insurance is very important in the future. Another good news is the deaths by the natural disaster is going down. So I think that's the only one the United Nations, they did in the last 20 or 30 years, because in UNFCCC, not only talk about the carbon reduction, but also talk about the disaster prevention. For example, they provide the early warning for some country in Africa about how they can get the message. For example, in Taiwan, you are here, you are very lucky. The typhoon, although very close to Taiwan, but you know very clearly the typhoon will not hit us directly, just heavy rain, sudden heavy rain. And in Taiwan, we have very clear information. But the other country, no information, even the mobile phone, they can get only the text information only. So how they can get more detail? This is the reason why the global deaths by the natural disaster is going down, but the economy loss is going up. And another issue is such a kind of disaster also is a share of the GDP. You can say every year it's very fluctuated. For example, 1 year is about 0.2% of the GDP. Some year is over maybe 0.4, it's double. So the premium of the insurance will be very fluctuated. Not only the economy inflation, but also the loss is also affect us. Another big issue is that right now, most of the company, they do not understand very detailed about the risk they can get. For example, this is the MSCI, they calculate all of the TCFD report for each company. They calculate the risk from the tropical cyclone. For example, financial institute, they are because just in office, not affected by the typhoon or hurricanes. But for the utilities or retail asset or consumer staples, such as kind of industry, maybe about 1.5% of the risk. If you calculate from the TCFD site, you can very clearly identify. Right now, the TSMC, they will launch their TCFD report. You can look at their report recently because they make not only their company, but they also their supply chain. So the loss probably will be about 1%, just like this one. Not only the tropic cyclone, but also the drought or heavy rain. And such is kind of the issues because of climate change will make the global, especially the insurance industry, because the climate change is destabilizing. Make such as kind of insurance industry is not very stable. So in the future, because of climate change, I think some of the insurance company, they cannot survive, really. And also, you will increase our premium. So they need another way, because they should set up their methodology. For example, before that, they use the historical data to calculate our premium. But in the future, they should calculate the potential climate risk in the future. So it's another methodology we should do. And another big issue is carbon finance. Last month, our President Tsai launched, we should have a carbon exchange platform. Everybody is very excited because our TCP push our government. We should have such a kind of platform to do this. But we don't know our president do it immediately and very quickly. And later on, our government worked very hard. But it's just like, carbon trading heat. It's overheated now, overheated. Everybody think I have several trees. I can make money from these trees recently. And so right now, what they did right now is just set up a company. But because, if we have a cap and trade about the carbon reduction, the price is totally different compared to the voluntary. And right now, such is kind of the trading institute in Taiwan is voluntary. So it's very limited, just a consulting company right now. So it's very amazing pathway right now. So the government talk too much, and right now the company, what they can do is very limited. What they do right now, because we see lots of the impact of the ESG is from the carbon tax and also the price, the ETS. Right now, for example, in Switzerland, the carbon tax is about more than $100, very expensive. The other country, in the maybe next year or next 2 years, Taiwan also we will have a carbon fee. However, the carbon fee probably is not so expensive. Maybe $10 is very limited. And so some people claim $10 is not good for the carbon reduction. But for the globally, you can see the EU ETS, but EU ETS is cap and trade. So it's control emission the price will be higher. But if we go to the voluntary stage, it is very limited. Maybe just the 10 or $20 is very limited. And such is kind of system happen in the world right now. So I think in Asia, Taiwan we will have, and also Philippines want to do this. Also Indonesia, Hong Kong, Malaysia, they also have the carbon trading system right now. And what we did right now, we want to see the price in the future, because right now we can see lots of people image the ETS will happen in Taiwan, the price will be higher, and we can make a big dream about the carbon. And however, actually, the truth is very limited. And what Taiwan can do or the other country can do. So this picture is, I was invited to Philippines to educate their people, because they also, for example, right now, what they did is using the mobile phone to calculate your tree in your home, and we can get money from the tree right now by using the mobile phone. And they claim they have a blockchain. The issue is we should have the carbon registry platform. Right now, our government have one, but it's very old, not correlated to the blockchain. So right now, such is kind of registered platform should link to the UNFCCC. And the second is a carbon exchange. The carbon exchange just like a platform to trade this. So in Taiwan, we should prevent, because we cannot find too much carbon sink recently. Actually, we need to find other solution about this. The best way is a joint crediting system. So what we prepare right now about the TCP is a JCM. JCM, you can say Japan, but also it's a joint credit mechanism. For example, we can do something in some area. For example, Vietnam, Malaysia, somewhere, and we can get the carbon credit back. So it's kind of international cooperation recently. So recently, such is kind of mechanism we are trying to do by using the TCP, our big company, ICT company. And this is ICT company. This picture is about 2 years ago. So we have lots of progress. And for example, the central one is the TSMC, and the Delta Electronic, the Yangtze High, also there. And we organize, and this is from 8 company to 100 company right now. And we have lots of events. For example, in 2 years ago, we went to the COP26 to announce this kind of supply chain. We want to educate the people, the supply chain organized together. We can also do this. So that's why I mentioned the ESG for this company is very essential works. It's not for their goal. Their goal is net zero and they have more competition for their product. So this is what we did in COP26. And what I mentioned, the JCM, working with the Philippine people. Because Philippines, they have lots of land. Probably the carbon sink in Philippines is very related to us. So this is why we say, the Korea, they also have the carbon green car and tree app. And is this greenwashing? So we need more discuss about this. So when we talk about the ESG, we should not only talk about, it's just ethical. We should get back to the financial part, the carbon part is very important. So next week, Monday, we will launch the Taiwan Climate Institute. And we will prepare not only the local course, and we also will have some international course in the future. So my conclusion is ESG fund will continue to drive the overall growth. Remember, 1/3 of the total assets. And the sustainable indicator and the related system to avoid greenwashing. So the greenwashing will be a big issue recently. The second is the global loss, because the natural disaster will be very large in the future. So there was, actually we need another platform to calculate the risk. The last one is the avoid buying carbon credit without reducing carbon emission. Our TCP major funding, they try their way. In our field, although we promote the carbon trading system, but we did not buy the carbon credit until now, because what they did is to carbon reduction by themselves, buy the green energy as they can. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peng, for such an in-depth sharing on the ESG global trend. Please return to your seat with care. Thank you. Up next, I would like to welcome Pao-Chuan, the Project Assistant Vice President from the President Office of PSMC. Mr. Lin is a semiconductor professional, and today he will be discussing on sustainable management of the semiconductor industry, social careness, and responsibility. Let us welcome Mr. Lin.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, I'm honored to have been invited by InnoVEX to give a presentation on sustainability in the semiconductor industry. In recent years, we have witnessed extreme droughts, severe heat waves, devastating floods, hurricanes, and violent storms. We firmly believe that these occurrences are directly linked to climate change. As outlined in the EU's 2030 Climate Target Plan and COP26, we have set ambitious goals to reduce carbon emissions by 50% in 2030 and achieve net zero emissions in 2050. With the aim of limiting global temperature rise to no more than 1.5 degrees, the escalating global warming poses a significant threat, leading to climate-related disasters that could have irreversible impacts on life as we know it on this planet. Today, our main focus will be on sustainable management and how it can help us to combat this crisis. Before I present the Powerchip Sustainability Report as an example, I would like to share two thoughts with everyone here. First one is the ESG backlash. Last year, two prestigious and influential publications reported on ESG. The Economist highlighted three prominent paradoxes within the ESG framework and proposed the importance of prioritizing a single, straightforward metric, carbon emissions. One example of a paradox is the dilemma of closing a coal mining company which positively affects carbon emissions, but results in job losses for all the workers. Additionally, certain companies might achieve high ESG scores through practices such as greenwashing or carbon offsetting. In my opinion, even addressing carbon emission reduction alone poses significant challenges. The commercialization of new technologies like carbon capture and storage and the renewable energy is essential, but it requires huge effort and progress. There is still a substantial amount of work ahead of us. Next is green inflation. New regulations such as the CBAM in the EU and the Taiwan Climate Change Adaptation Law are being imposed, with more expected to follow soon. The industry is now confronted with the rising costs in terms of energy, production materials, and the need for new equipment to transition to renewable energy, as well as additional carbon taxes due to government regulatory compliance. Industries, particularly small and medium-sized manufacturing companies in Taiwan, may face significant challenges if they are not adequately prepared for these changes. It is crucial to expedite the transition process, upgrade products, and adjust product prices as soon as possible. It's important to note that a sustained period of green inflation is on the horizon. Now I will present the Powerchip sustainability report. Since 1994, PSC has been incorporated with DRAM technology transferred from Mitsubishi. Initially, it started as a pure DRAM fabrication, but later transformed successfully into PSMC as a foundry fab. Currently, Powerchip offers 3 main foundry services, which includes advanced memories, customized logic, integrated circuits, and discrete components. Our unique business model is the open foundry operation model. Currently, we have 2 8-inch fabs and 3 12-inch fabs in production. Additionally, we have plans to add 1 more 12-inch fab in Tongluo, which is expected to join the production by the end of 2023. Powerchip has a strong commitment to ESG. Regarding the environmental aspects, we are committed to reducing energy usage by 1% every year, achieving a recycle rate of processed water of more than 86%, decreasing 13.5% of greenhouse gas emissions, and achieving a waste reuse rate of more than 91%. We have also set ambitious goals for social and governance aspects. Powerchip has already embedded the 4 corporate cultural values into its operations and management. We have also followed the United Nations SDGs by disclosing specific actions on corresponding goals. The Board of Directors established the ESG Guidance Committee and the ESG Committee to fulfill corporate social responsibility and improve the economy, environment, and society. Our company's chairman and the CEO, Frank Huang, served as the chair of the committee to demonstrate our determination. Our development strategies and sustainable goals will be divided into 3 categories: the economic, environmental, and societal aspects. The economic aspect includes corporate governance, information security, sustainable profitability, and customer trust. Today, I'll focus more on environmental and societal aspects, which will be explained later in detail. All related strategies, performance, and goals are listed here for review and examinations. Powerchip defines itself as a green manufacturer. In recent years, there have been power and water shortages in Taiwan. If not properly managed, they may affect production and raise regulatory risks in the future. Therefore, the energy resources and the management is important. The core topics will be energy, green gas management, water and effluent. For energy, based on the Ministry of Economic Affairs requirement, semiconductor companies have to reduce power usage by 1% every year and must adopt reusable energy power generators. For green gas management, we introduced international management systems such as ISO 50001, 14001, and 1464-1, greenhouse gas emission reduction management measures, and greenhouse gas emission check and verification details were also introduced. For the water and effluent, the recycling rate of the water for semiconductor manufacturing must exceed 85%. To support the government's reusable water policy, our company promised to use 1,050 cmd of reclaimed water after the Science Park's water reclamation plan is complete. Our company treats environmental protection, green production, and fulfilling corporate social responsibilities as part of our corporate governance. We dedicate ourselves to maintaining an excellent corporate image and the clients' trust. It is ultimate goal to achieving a sustainable business. The main topics will be air pollution, emission management, and waste. For air pollution emission management, we implemented the ISO 14001 and stipulated environmental safety, hygiene, and fire regulation management guide, and the foundry environmental pollution prevention measures for management purpose. For waste, we adopt the best feasible technology to control, realize the reduction from the sources, and examine each recycled source for reuse to ensure each operation meets the environmental protection standards. We have implemented a foundry-wide energy management system by adopting ISO 50001. This system utilizes systematic methodologies to achieve energy performance and continuous improvements in areas such as energy efficiency, safety, usage, and consumption. We have also passed the verification of a third-party auditing institution, which has helped us analyze our energy usage and consumption efficiency. All wastewater must pass through our in-house wastewater treatment facilities before being discharged into Science Park. In order to monitor the treatment effectiveness for different compositions, Powerchip distinguished wastewater into 20 different types of reuse and non-reuse water treatment categories. This helps increase the water reuse rate and recycle some waste liquid acid and organic waste liquid. Our company adopts a recycling concept for waste management to achieve 3 goals. 1, reduce waste at the source. 2, improve the reuse value of waste. And 3, ensure proper treatment of waste and waste tracking. Becoming a green enterprise is one of Powerchip's goals. Our company has obtained the certification of IECQ and the certification of Sony to become a green partner. All of our company's products meet the requirements listed in the IEC 62474 material disclaimer and related international regulations. Powerchip is to pursue a prosperity society by social welfare and environmental production. Powerchip's Health Club has been actively promoting the 333 No Plastic campaign since 2017, which involves picking up litter in the neighborhood of the company. Powerchip's Environmental Protection Foundation is dedicated to promoting environmental education in which we engage or sponsor research discussions and relevant events on domestic and international environmental issues. The Powerchip Welfare Committee is to represent our company's participation in local public welfare to support disadvantaged groups and fulfill corporate sustainability. In order to resolve an oversupply of fruits, such as banana, guava, we provide such groups in the employee cafeteria from time to time to help farmers. This is an example of an environmental education to host animal conservation drawing competition. Here is another example to host the tree planting in Miaoli on World Earth Day. Powerchip advocates the value of love and care and provides support to community, culture, and educational organizations and the disadvantaged groups through actual participation and provide services. Chairman Frank Huang believed that Taiwan is already the Silicon Valley of the semiconductor industry. But how to maintain Taiwan's leading position has become an important issue. Powerchip is one of the few among the corporate sponsors of nation's 4 major colleagues of semiconductor research, which fully participates and make donations. Powerchip Cultural Foundation was established in 2004 with the goal of promoting artistic and cultural activities. We believe that our employees are the most valuable assets of our company. Therefore, we strive to maintain good communication and interaction with the labor and management, which can enhance corporate culture and organizational atmosphere. According to the regulations for implementing labor management meeting set by the Ministry of Labor, our company hosts regular labor management meetings with labor representatives who can voice their opinions. Occupation safety is an important indicator to see whether the company's environmental safety and hygiene management system is fully functional. When these matters fail to be managed effectively, it jeopardizes the company's productions and operations. Powerchip's occupation safety and hygiene management systems were established based on the article in ISO 45001 and CNS 45001. We also have environmental safety and hygiene management handbook to regulate the international environmental safety and hygiene management on the production sites and external issues. Extreme climate disasters are happening more often and becoming more severe. We don't have much time left to solve this problem. Finally, I would like to end my speech today by sharing my own ESG. That is, we have to execute the ESG norms smoothly and simply with goodwill in time. Thank you for your listening today.
Thank you, Mr. Ling, for sharing from the perspective of the semiconductor industry. Thank you once again. Please return to your seats and with care. Thank you so much. Up next, our speaker has 15 years of professional experience in the information system, project consulting service, AI big data analysis, GHG inventory consult, and CFP consulting service. Let us welcome our next speaker, Ms. Cindy Yu-Chuan Ling, the Chief Product Officer at Chase Sustainability Technology. Let us welcome Ms. Ling onto the stage.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cindy, and I'm from the CPO of the Chase. And before I start my talk today, I would like to echo about the Dr. Peng in the beginning of the section. He talked about that the greenwash and also many bank or many finance or many insurance that are focused on the ESG issue right now. So today my section about the talk is to introduce about some smart, simple, and solid tools to enhance our technique by using the technology techniques to empower our companies to fitting the sustainable transformation. So let me start from the beginning. As the ESG issue has been highly discussed recent year, more and more SMBs, small and medium business companies are now noticed that ESG may be a key factor which directly affect the order from their order or their income. So like recent months, there is a slogan we heard very recently: no money, no ESG, or no ESG, no money, which stands for that many companies need to be focused on the ESG reality or the ESG actions, and then they will not lose any income or any opportunity. Many companies are now setting their goals like 2030 or 2050 to go net zero, or including the 2-0 factor. I would like to talk about is like the zero waste and zero emissions. But how can we make it come true? So in the middle of the slide, we can saw DX. What is the DX stands for? DX stands for like we are trying to help the companies to make some digital transformation, which says DX, or we can say digital experience. Okay, so how can we using the high tech to improve and helping the companies to trying to say goodbye to the old-fashioned thinking? Also, the large company are now in this recent year, they are carrying their suppliers mostly focused on the small and medium business supplier to get along together on their ESG pathway with the large factory and obtain the goal, which their new trend, which can also build on a much more stronger team together. So let me introduce our company, Chase. Chase is a new startup company which founded in 2017. We are now having two total solutions which called WAS and ESMS. WAS stands for Waste Management as a Service. It including that the total solution for 3 different roles in the waste industrial, including the waste management provider like industrial factory who has their waste, and also the logistic who helping to transportation the waste. And in the final, we also help the treatment factory to do some DX, the digital transformation. And ESMS, the Chase Sustainability Cloud, which provide a unique one-stop service solution for every company around the world to beginning starting from doing some ESG health check to know about yourself, and then we can build an ESG database on the platform. By doing the ESG database platform, we can apply to the ESG report or some counting carbon emissions. The first platform we have is in the middle of the button, we can see in the orange panel. It's the IEM platform. This platform is a B2B e-commerce platform. You can imagine it's just like an Uber, but the Uber is focused on the waste right now. There are over 4,000 companies and customers running on our platform every day. And the reason why I would like to introduce the first product of the Chase is because this B2B e-commerce platform is not only running waste. It will be echoed to the government, Ms. Tsai in one said. We will going to be a B2B platform which can exchange carbon trading, or which we can have the renewable energy trading in the future. And also, the IEM platform can be also known as a circular economic trading platform inside your own company. In order to accomplish and start from the internal cycle to the product cycle, such as the reuse product, and finally to the energy cycle, for the goal as turning the company to move forward to the zero waste. Okay. Also, we had built a traceable platform named SWIFT, System of Waste Intelligent Fast Track, helping the company not only follow by the government law, but also provide more information once the waste has accepted from the treatment company. And we do all the real-time data monitoring and keep the evidence on the platform. At PASS, there is no way to have a monitor or have an eye on the treatment company. There usually be a black box in the treatment company, and we all don't know, is it the waste will be attractive or real likely to be dealt with. Okay, oh, sorry. So let's talk about the two video on this slide. We can see the upper one is that on our platform, we use many AI techniques to recognize or to detect what is going on in the factory. The AI image recognition techniques to many other applications, just like this one. We can see the green one is the ROI, the region of interest that the AI is going to be recognized. He's trying to tell us this set of the waste is how much weight, and it can be directly depends on the feature, on the image. And on the other video in the bottom is that we are trying to make the video, recognition more deeper. We are going to do on the stretch recognition on each machine or each waste to protect all the waste is going to be dealt with really good on it. Okay, and we also help company to build their own intelligent information hub, and collecting all the data around their site and turn it into some useful information is the key that we would like to provide this platform. To tell the number of more efficient for the manager or to do more deeper analysis. Manager can also use the app or use the monitor site no matter where he are. So there's no limit with the time and site. Also, we have the alert auto push to the social media such as the WhatsApp or Line. So the manager or the manager, they can, or the CEO, they can just try using their mobile phone or their WhatsApp. Then they can monitor the factory real time and see what's happening. And if there's something happen, they can have the most direct and most occurrency decision for what's happening now. Helping the treatment company to process this transformation is what we are doing right now, because there are many old-fashioned factories in Taiwan. Mostly will focus on the southern Taiwan. So we only need to add digital camera, then we can use AI video recognition to help them to build on this platform. Regarding that, because the past, they might have to install different systems, such as like a security system or some product line system or some machine system. And the hard work will be focused on the treatment company because they need to get integration together. But by using our Chase solution, we can only use one digital camera or many digital camera, only one thing. We can also corroborate all the information to the Intelligent Information Hub. Okay, and talking about the 2.0, zero waste, and then we are talking about the zero emissions. The zero emissions is company that's starting to record their own emission around these 2 years. So in the beginning, we are going to start the record. And then we are going to report, make some numbers, make some records to become a chart. And then, what are we going to do? We are going to move forward to how can we reduce. So, these years, like we all already have our record, we all already have our report. So now we are going to do is that we want to set our reduce goal and divide it into different years and draw the path is how can we obtain our goal in this year. Echo to the beginning from the large company carrying the suppliers, dedicate to achieve the goal. Here is a real case that we started from the last year. We helped one semiconductor company in Taiwan, who set their goal to 2030, yes. 2030 will carry over 500 suppliers in Taiwan and reduce 20% of carbon emission from the base year 2020. Okay, so for those large amount of the suppliers, just we talk about 500 suppliers, or some global group who has many sites, many different sites around the globe. They need a smart, simple, and solid tool to help them. So let me introduce some feature from our Chase Sustainability Cloud. So, okay. So in the beginning that we can see, this is the feature that we are trying to record our GHG emission. It can be easily by insert all your data from the Excel file, or we can have some AI recognition which you can see in the left lower part. We can do the OCR recognition by you just upload your image or any of the picture, and then we can recognize into the picture to the numbers into our database. Also, when we counting the GHG emission, there is a part of the hardest way is that how can we select our coefficient? If the company is around the world, how can we choose it? Do we have the coefficient in Taiwan? Do we have the transportation coefficient in Europe? So in our platform, we are collecting over 60,000 database around the world, including we are having the annual authority from the Echo Event database. So it's the global database that you can choose from our platform. Also, after the analyzing, after record, you can see on the right lower part, there will be automatic chart to analyze how do you present, how do you play and role in your project. Also, that the Chase Sustainability Cloud has been authority by the BSI last year. What's that standing for? Is because like the BSI are authorizing our platform, which our methodology and our strategy and our counting method can be authorized. So all of our customers who input their record, their data on our platform, they can be easily count down their GHG emission, and then it can be easily to be authorized by the third party. Okay, here are some following features from our platform. You can see that we can also setting the KPI. Why we need to set KPI? Because GHG emission, it's not a one-year goal. We are trying to help that it's like 2030, 2050. So we have to monitoring annually. So setting a KPI goal for each item is what we can do right now. And we can see like in the upper right side, this is many different charts. It's representing like if we are the large company, we are carrying our suppliers. I can show all the information by this dashboard. And also we have some CFP function in our platform, and also as a SaaS service, we have all the records, all the log in our system. It's quite professional for any audit. And also the last feature I would like to introduce is that according to the GPT launched this year or at the end of the last year, it would be a very interesting topic. So we are going to launch our Chase GPT in the July, in the next month, I think, yes. So next month we are going to have this Chase GPT. What is the benefit of the Chase GPT? The Chase GPT is like we would like to replace the real man consultants. Because we all know that when we are trying to write our ESG report or we are trying to count our GHG emission, all companies that they are relying on the professional consultants. But if we can reduce the reality person or we can cut down the budget, how we can use the GPT to help you step by step to finish your GHG emissions. Okay, so we also are able to collect many IoT services from the machine or the product line to integrate many to our platform in order to save time for the company and also lower down the mistake rate, which may caused by the personal typo. Okay, recent years, many banks are providing different sustainable financial plans to support companies to commit the ESG transforming. This is a great move and hope it can be continued. So this may be echo with the Dr. Peng's, like he's talking about the financial strategy, or that he's talking about the investment, or if he's talking about the insurance. So many of the Taiwan banks are right now providing different plans. Who is the company that dedicate in the ESG solutions? Okay, so I think I only have like two more slides. And I would like to talk about like, okay, I would like to talk about what's the difference between Chase and the other IT company or other consultant companies. Chase is the unique one-stop service integration solution company. We have 50% of software, hardware engineer, and 50% engineer, and 50% of the professional consultants. So, trying to like Chase to help your company with professional consultant service and smart, simple, solid tools, it can be easily to help you to reduce or count or giving any other solutions for your company. The last slide I would like to echo is about, we all talk about that we are going to make an alliance, or we are trying to build an ecosystem. Chase is a company which under the Clean Away group, which is a big group, a big company in the southern Taiwan, is the waste treatment company. So what is in our group and what is our milestone for this ecosystem? We leverage different companies, including the waste treatment, including the how do we find the zero waste. And also we have some marketing strategy. Also we have the platform, and we can also encourage some consultant service, also the and also some training program to all the company. Okay, so I will stay in the last slide of my talk today. And I would like to have one more conclusion about this, is that ESG is not a simple or it's not a short way. All of our companies should be better, should be together for the planet and for the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ling, for sharing these really useful tools that we can employ through the journey of sustainability. All right, our speaker up next is an electrical engineer himself. He also introduced the concept of carpooling in 2000 in Bangalore and ran a non-profit online carpool group. Let us welcome Mr. Navratan Katariya, the director of NASSCOM COE IoT, National Association of Software and Service Company. Let us welcome.
Thank you. You would have observed my trousers are loose. Why? Because I'm more ESG compliant after coming over here on Monday. Why? Because I am eating a lot of greens, not processed food, not cooked food. And thanks to Mila and Jason, that I have been a little more ESG compliant. Talking about trousers, if you look at a lot of countries, the grandmothers used to recycle our trousers. They would cut it here and make it a handbag. This handbag would have predefined 2 pockets and 2 compartments where you can use it for grocery. My name is Navratan from the land of the highest population country, and which means that I have the biggest blame game to play on the ESG non-compliance. But at the same time, we have a lot of traditional ways to comply on ESG. Let's go through what I do. I take care of innovation in India on the digital side, and we run an incubator and incubation. Just a brief introduction. We are with the government, the industry, combined to support the adoption of innovations from the startups. We connect the industry to the startups, to the government, and of course the academia. So that's my brief background. But let me tell you, what we have been doing for years is look at the cause of why we are here. If we talk about our grandparents, they knew what is the root causes. Few centuries back, we were very ESG compliant. Can we try to find out what can be taken care of without actually acting on it after you've done all the mess? So we have been doing a lot of things, and I'll give you a few examples. So it's like in Ayurveda or traditional medicine, right? You try to kill the cause of your disease rather than rectify after artificial medicines, right? So that is what I think we need to also do about conserving, reducing. Dr. Peng said 50 trillion assets of ESG. That's mind-boggling. We didn't have those kind of assets to take care of. Can we reduce those assets? May or may not be. But let's try to see what we can do on that. I'll talk about the Indian policy, and I have to talk about policies because policies drive a lot of ESG solutions in any country. And we started in 2014, the Swachh Bharat. We were having a lot of issues about the cleanliness in the whole of the country. And this was a big program in which we say, can we remain clean? When we say clean, you do not throw your garbage on the road, or you do not just throw in a common dustbin. Can you start segregating? The concept of segregating to recycling all started in 2014 at a very large scale in the whole of the country. We have a lot of tax incentives, and we know that money is a driving force. And of course, a lot of corporate responsibility laws were made in which companies had to do a lot of contribution through their corporate social responsibility programs into ESG programs. Traditionally, they have been only into the R&D areas. Now, ESG related areas are also non-taxed, or the contribution you make to ESG, you will gain tax benefit out of it. So there are a good number of policy decisions which the government took over years, which I would say has implemented not only the CFO's way of thinking, because they always think where's the money coming from, but it's also kept a thinking process initiated in the operational areas of all corporates. What we are looking at is from manufacturing to alternate energy, electric vehicles, and R&D. So these are the kind of figures that we have. 5 to 7% of biomass pellets in coal-based thermal power plants is a huge, huge target. We do not know how soon we can reach that, but let's try to do it. We have challenges, like every country has challenges. The first is, of course, lack of awareness. I mean, not everybody on earth is looking at that, am I responsible for ESG compliance? That awareness is a lot of companies, and all the speakers before me are doing wonderful job on the awareness also. They start with awareness within their community, within their corporates, to make sure that everybody is concerned about the ESG issues that we fall under, including the CFO, including the sales guy, including the manufacturing guy. Lack of data. Now, data is a big challenge because if we do not have data, we do not know where to target it to. I'll give you a few examples of data. You talked about putting gigawatts of wind power, right? Over 10 years, 15 years, if you saw Dr. Peng's first slide in which there was a wind turbine, the hub of that had bolts on it, and some of them were getting rusted. You remember, if they're getting rusted, maybe 15 years later, if you're not predicted it enough, it's going to be going down, which means that the wind turbine, which is supposed to generate continuously 24/7 for 25 years plus, it will go down for at least a few months, and that's a loss of our ESG contribution into the company. We have a lot of data solutions. Corporates, for example, in India, they've got this canteen, and where everybody eats food. What they do is look at cameras on the left-out plate, and then say, this employee has been doing a wonderful job of not leaving any food on the plate. You can actually award them by something or the other. In fact, a lot of us in India love to have very lavish marriages. And marriages means, you know, too much of food and entertainment, right? We have seen a lot of cases where when you put the plate back, if your plate is clean, you're given a serialized token. And the last one that I attended, the winner of that token, it's a lottery system, got a gold chain. Look at the objective of the organizers. You are forcing people directly or indirectly not to leave food on the plate. And I'm very happy that in Taiwan, I haven't seen so much of wastage on the food, which is very good socially. Regulations. We know that regulations have been driving a lot of actions on ESG, but I would also say that too much of regulations will not really push you to be ESG compliant. There's a limit to how much you will. It's just like your parents saying, wake up early in the morning. You know how much time we agree to that, right? It's exactly the same. You can keep on pushing, but you will have to imbibe that waking up early in the morning and going for a run, right? That's exactly what the government is hopefully trying to do, but we will have to have chasing them. Chase will do that. High cost. We know that it's like high cost of all ESG, but you know, if I would say, if we've done the mess, we better clean it up. And if we do not clean it fast, the cost of clearing the mess will be much higher later and later. So I would say, I'll give you an example, like we are from the digital world, so how digital world can help innovatively. We have situations where you are into an office, 200 people working in it. Can you see how many people are wearing blazers and coats? What's the total consumption of water in that day, and how many people are going how many times in a washroom? Can you AI calculate, is your temperature set a little lower than what is required in summer or higher in the winter? Even 1 degree centigrade of that is definitely an advantage to the ESG contribution. That data, which I talked about, is very valuable when you're taking decisions. And this decision doesn't have to be dependent on the administrator or the HR guy in the company. Let the machine take care of it. Let the machine learn what is the average comfort level. Are people shivering like this? Are they comfortable without the trousers, without the coats? And this is where I think there's a lot of contribution machine learning can do to help reduce that even 1 degree Celsius reduction in your air conditioning load. ESG washing, of course, Chase talked about it, earlier speakers talked about it, but I'll talk about innovations. We are the largest producer of modern bioenergy. So I somehow do not agree with this carbon trading concept, because you say that I can cut all the trees, put a lot of factories around it, and then buy the carbon offset from a country or a state which is probably 1,000 kilometers away. But my dear friends, who will take care of the flood which comes onto my head when I cut these trees? I am going to be the culprit, and I am going to be facing the issue of that flood in my area. Offsetting through a 1,000-kilometer away wind turbine will only help take care of your regulatory issue. Track ESG performance. It's very important. It's like, you know, you need to motivate your kids. When they do well in the exam, you need to motivate. Now, how will you motivate? There's a scorecard which comes from the school. We need to have a ESG scorecard. This ESG scorecard is very important for us to motivate, recorrect the situation or the path that we are taking. There's a lot of digital innovation happening in that area. Unfortunately, and I must confess that not too many startups in that area are well funded. Why? Because ESG is still not an investor's pet baby. We need to change that situation, because I must say that there's a lot of money left over there. If you look at 50 trillion worth of net assets on ESG, I think startups just can move across everybody to move into ESG contributions. And those, I must say, is not very complex. Frankly speaking, today, if you're doing data monitoring insights out of the data running ML and AI, it's not very tough, frankly speaking. Technology impacts on ESG. We know all that. These are all the slides that I work on the AI side or the digital side. I know that there's a lot of fraud detection in the governance. I know that there's social activities which are happening where blockchain can help social or diversity or the gender diversity issues. There's a lot of areas where we would take benefit from the digital world. I'm giving some examples of where India is doing, and I'm sure there's a lot of such similar examples world across, including in Taiwan. I've been seeing a lot of your EVs, the cycles and the scooters, the EVs running that, but you know, India is the most populous country now. You can't beat that in terms of market, right? So the advantage that we have is there's a huge scale that startups can benefit from our country. What we are looking for is collaboration between India and Taiwan, where we try to find out where the best practice is and try to see whether we have these kind of examples in both the countries where we can complement each other's stories and see whether we can help the ecosystem. Clean energy versus bio-renewables. We are trying to have startups generating hydrogen from biomasses. Now let's go back to the roots of where we started with. Biogas digester developing, I'm not talking about the traditional hydrogen generation from the electricity, because that's been talked about, everybody knows about it. I'm talking about something which is a little unique, because we have a lot of biomass. Biomass is recyclable, it's ESG compliant, and can we have bacteria and fungus working on it all naturally to produce hydrogen for your EV, for your fuel cell based EV or the ship. We have people who have been trying to get the fumes out of diesel generators to convert into ink, which can be used for your printing machines. So that's what we know, that triple R or 4 Rs is the magic mantra of the day. We have on the social side a few examples, but I would like to tell you about this thing. The picture that I have mentioned to you about is, in spite of what we say, there are a lot of people living in the rural areas, and they've been traditionally burning wood for their cooking needs. All we need to do is use the computer-aided design to make sure that the stove that they're using is more efficient, less smoke burner. We can do that at a fraction of a cost with the material right on the spot. The manufacturing items are, it's basically sand. If you can generate that kind of design for these guys, there's a huge amount of smoke that you can save from the rural population, which have been ignored in the ESG calculation, frankly speaking, but let's try even on those areas. There's a lot of vocational training, and we are saying that training, just being university graduate is not enough. We have to have some people who are trained well on the ESG compliant manufacturing and vocational training sites. So it's very important for us to train people that they should train with minimum of losses, optimize the reuse of resources. We have innovative governance areas as well. They're not-for-profit areas. But these, I must say, are traditionally left to non-startup. When I say non-startup, these are NGOs. And NGOs, I must say, is a bit slow on accepting digital world right now. They think that it's still a lot of work to do when they have to go to startups, but I think we are all trying to do that. We need to help and support these NGOs because these NGOs reflect the policymakers, and these policymakers are equally important when it comes to implementing ESG areas. In conclusion, I would say that we need to have a lot of investments for all the digital innovations that we have. We need to have a lot of, if I can say, each of us going back home, talk to your grandmother, ask them one method of how she did something very ESG friendly. I'll give you two examples. There's a startup here I looked at. They make cutlery out of sugar cane straw. You know the waste out of, you extract the sugar cane juice, they make it out of it. But going a little further beyond that, we have in India a guy who makes cutlery, cups and forks and spoons made out of barleys and maize and cereals, which means that you can drink tea and eat the crockery. Why not? There are innovations happening in that area, and I would love for each of us to at least try one ESG compliant practice. And if you think that it's good, share it. Next year, probably you should be on the stage with your grandmother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Katariya, for the sharing on the overview of ESG development in India. Please kindly remain on the stage. We're going to get ready for a group photo taking. All right, let us invite our previous speakers onto the stage once again. Dr. Chi-Ming Peng, Mr. Pao-Chuan Ling, and Miss Cindy Yu-Chun Ling onto the stage to join Mr. Katariya. All right, let's come closer together to each other. Okay, let's do a show your best smile and looking to our camera in the middle. All right, 3, 2, 1. ESG. Do you guys want to do a double thumbs up? We have more cameras. Double thumbs up for 2 hands. Gentlemen, 2 hands. Yes. Okay, looking to some of our smartphones and camera in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Dream big, go green. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Miss Ling, for the great sharing on ESG and sustainability. Kindly return to your seats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still have some time. So if you would like to network or check with our speakers, please feel free to do so. And they're experts in their fields. Thank you once again for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation in today's ESG for Common Good and Sustainability Forum. This concludes our event for the morning. Thank you very much for joining us. We wish you a pleasant and productive afternoon. See you later.